This drawing is an image of departure. Two figures, a female figure on the right, a male figure on the left, are interpretations of figures taken from the Mesopotamian epic, the Epic of Gilgamesh. And this rather rough drawing with soft pencil is an image of departure. On the right we have Shamhat, and she is leaving, kind of absconding really, with Enkidu, who is a wild man from a kind of animal-filled paradise in Mesopotamia, and they are heading towards the city of Uruk. He is actually sharing her cloak, and maybe her hair is flowing over him. His arms are outstretched because I am imagining him. He has some strong emotion about leaving his pastoral home. Heading towards the city of Uruk. Enkidu and Shamhat. My name is Greg Decker, and I'm a professional artist, an oil painter. For years now, I've been obsessed with drawing and painting from the Mesopotamian epic, the Epic of Gilgamesh. In addition to other paintings, still lifes, interiors, figurative paintings, landscape, I've been drawing from this theme for about 10 years. The Epic of Gilgamesh, originating in the 11th century BCE, was very much alive in Mesopotamian culture and throughout that region. And it comes down to us through clay tablets, kind of miraculously. It was wonderfully rediscovered in 1872. And even just the story of this rediscovery is fascinating. And it's still really being found as fragments still resurface and add and clarify to this brief but very salient, adventurous epic. I don't think of it so much as a piece of literature, but as an event, the ongoing Epic of Gilgamesh. And these particular books refired my imagination starting several years ago as a visual artist, and I began drawing out images from particularly the very first part of the epic. producing drawings which have morphed into color paintings and paintings which are inspired by the epic directly. These books include the superb translation by Andrew George with its wonderful notes, the book Gilgamesh, The Life of a Poem by Michael Schmidt, the superb epic poem by Jenny Lewis, Gilgamesh Retold, and currently the new translation by Sophus Hell. What is the story of Gilgamesh? A very condensed version. Gilgamesh was a young, very athletic king of the city of Uruk who abused his power over his subjects with exhausting and overwhelming battle sports. The exhausted populace prayed to the gods. It was a polytheistic culture. And the gods created a kind of wild man named Enkidu who lived in the wilderness beyond the city, living with the animals and releasing the local farmers' trapped animals. It was decided to send Shamhat, the priestess, to seduce and civilize Enkidu and bring him to Uruk. She convinces Enkidu to depart from the wilds and his animal life and travel to Uruk to partake of the pleasures of culture and civility and to meet Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh and Enkidu battle and embrace almost in the same sentence, subsequently having many adventures and travels together. Now, this very part is what fascinates me in the epic. The inner lives of Enkidu and Shamhat, their separate but very intertwined saga together. The literal sharing of their cloak, the fulfillment of Enkidu centrally and through human contact, through food and as a citizen. During my younger years as a painter, I developed into an interpretive realist, fascinated by story and multicultural myth, a narrative painter favoring large, simple shapes, attempting a dramatic beauty in an invented space of figures. These themes reoccur over the years, players in an ongoing theater. I'm inspired by what I see, what I read, what I dream. I began my first rough drawings of Gilgamesh about 10 years ago, and lately the drawings have been reaching a fruition in paint, in size, in color. Perhaps my love of Gilgamesh comes in part from my experiences of living in Africa as a boy. I envision a similarity in color in landscape and in clothing, and other influences, I'm sure, bloom there as well, including contemporary influences. Gilgamesh is like a constant echo in my work, whatever I'm painting, and in what I see. After years of drawing, I condense these into a kind of template from which I continue to draw, paint. Who is Gilgamesh in his power and despair? Who Shamhat? What thoughts Enkidu, watching the stars, his head on an antelope's flank? What were the animals then? What trees? And what gods war and argue over us now, our cities rising in brick and glass? Who are the kings, the Shamhats, the Enkidus in our bricky cities of Uruk? I really hope you enjoyed these works. I'm indebted to the scholars and the poets who continue to rediscover Gilgamesh, especially Andrew George, Michael Schmidt, Jenny Lewis, and Sophus Hell, and to the international community of artists, theatrical, dancers, poets, and visual artists who continue to celebrate.
said about